Meanwhile, the EFF says it's determined to remove the ANC from power in the upcoming general elections. Party leader Julius Malema says the 2019 election outcome shows that the governing party is losing its grip in KwaZulu-Natal. Malema was speaking during the Central Election Task Team meeting in Durban.
The people of KZN, they shocked us in 2019 on the national election. The outcome we got here, we never expected. And that was a call, in a way, for the people of KZN to say, we are longing for the EFF. We want the EFF, but the EFF is nowhere to be found. So we're here now. We didn't just come, we invited in 2019. They invited us. 350,000 votes, unexpected. Africa, my vote. So how do you get 350,000 votes without doing serious work and not go back there where there is potential? So we're here now, and it's going to be very difficult for the ruling party and for the IFP.
To help us reflect on some of the major political developments of the day, we're now joined by political analyst Thembisa Fakude. Mr. Fakude, a pleasure to have you on the program this evening. Now, considering former President Jacob Zuma's endorsement of Umkhonto weSizwe, do you think it poses a real threat to the ANC's campaign strategy for the upcoming elections?
I think it does. We've already seen him speaking and touring the country. The ANC eThekwini region has instituted some sort of research, in inverted commas, to its members to see the impact of the Umkhonto weSizwe. So there are worries that Jacob Zuma might just take a number of votes from the ANC, both particularly in KZN and nationally. We saw him today with the religious leaders, again, making some politicking and beginning in earnest his campaign for Umkhonto weSizwe. So I think the ANC is worried. The fact that, at some point they're going to be tackling, according to Fikile Mbalula, and discussing Jacob Zuma, it means that they're not taking this lightly. They are taking this very seriously.
Which brings me to my next question around how do you interpret the ANC's decision not to discuss Zuma's involvement in the Umkhonto weSizwe at the NEC meeting? Could it be a strategic move or a sign of internal divisions over the issue?
Well, it could be, but at the same time, I think there is a need for them to consult with ANC KZN, because whether we like it or not, there is likely to be some working relationship between Umkhonto weSizwe and the ANC. But at the same time, I don't think the ANC knows precisely how to deal with Jacob Zuma, because we don't know what is going to be charged for. He has not, at least according to reports, he has just said that he was not going to be voting for the ANC, and it encourages people to vote for Umkhonto weSizwe. So whether or not he's a leader and a member of Umkhonto weSizwe, that's another story. So I think the ANC is caught between the rock and the hard place in terms of how to deal with this at the moment. Here is the former president of the ANC encouraging people not to vote for the ANC, but to vote for Umkhonto weSizwe. And I think the ANC will have to do a bit of work in terms of first convincing Jacob Zuma that this is not the right thing to do, but at the same time also to come up with one voice with the KZN province in particular, which I think will want to have a discussion rather than alienating former President Jacob Zuma. So they are likely to have discussions there. And by the way, there's likely, should President Jacob Zuma decide to join formally and become the leader of this party, you are likely to see a number of people going with Umkhonto weSizwe, which will likely also encourage the ANC to have some sort of coalition, as many people predict that the ANC might just dip below 50% come this elections in May.
So Fikile Mbalula mentions the ANC's satisfaction with members serving in President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet. Do you think this satisfaction reflects the overall sentiment within the party, or are there underlying concerns not being openly discussed?
Well, there are a lot of underlying concerns. The ANC at the moment is more concerned about the future of coalitions, because I think many of them have accepted that there is going to be coalition with other parties, both provincially in all 9 provinces and nationally. So I think they're very concerned about that. And at this point, they don't want to sideline President Jacob Zuma for obvious reasons, that it might just be a valuable partner moving forward, because he shares basically all socio-political and economic policies with the ANC because of Umkhonto Wesizwe, if it does decide to be part and parcel of that. So they don't want to alienate that possibility, and I think that's why they are not moving full force in terms of speaking on what's happening regarding the launch of Umkhonto Wesizwe. So there are those disgruntlement, and by the way, given again that you might just have ANC dipping below 50%, there are a lot of politicians within the ANC who might just be seeking new homes in terms of the political membership, should they not make it to President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet. So you are dealing with the ANC at the moment that is not really comfortable, the ANC that's extremely shaky, with many people looking at their futures in terms of where they will be post the elections early this year.
So in the clips that we played preceding this conversation, we also heard from the EFF leader, Julius Malema, who expresses confidence in growing in KwaZulu-Natal, or growing his party in KwaZulu-Natal for these upcoming elections. What factors do you believe contribute to the growth of the EFF, and how might it impact the traditional dominance of the ANC and IFP in that province?
Well, I think the EFF is a bit ambitious. I mean, the fact that they had this conference today was mainly to steal the limelight from the ANC, because this is the weekend of the ANC, because the ANC is having its own NEC. So both Jacob Zuma and Julius Malema decided to steal the limelight from Cyril Ramaphosa or the NEC of the ANC. But I don't see the EFF really growing as they purport to be in KZN. I think they are going to reach a position of stagnation moving forward. I think they've exhausted all possibilities of growing as a political party. But of course, I mean, they are campaigning at the moment and they want to make us believe that they are growing, and as a result, we must vote for them. But I don't see them really making any inroads. They are likely to be part of a coalition, and in terms of the coalition politics, they might play a role, but in terms of them as a standalone party, tackling organizations such as the ANC or the IFP in KZN, I don't see that happening. I think the IFP is likely to be a recognizable standalone party in the KZN, and it's one of the parties, of course, that might just give the ANC a run for its money.
But some may warn that you should underestimate the EFF at your own peril. And very interesting in that clip that we played, Malema also mentions being invited to KZN in 2019 and getting unexpected votes. How crucial is this unexpected support for the EFF strategy in the province? And how do you see it influencing the approach of the upcoming elections?
Well, it was a disgruntled vote. Many of the EFF members and those that voted for EFF were members of the ANC who were disgruntled by the ANC, hence that mass move in KZN to vote for the EFF. But I think we've reached a peak. I don't see them gaining new membership. I don't see them stealing further membership from organizations such as the IFP, for example, or the ANC. I think they've reached their peak, and their peak, I don't see it increasing in any way or form. Yes, President of the EFF, Julius Malema, is a bit ambitious, and there's nothing wrong with being ambitious. But judging by the politics and reality in the region and the polls, I don't see the EFF really making any further inroads to what they've already done in both the national elections that we've had and the local elections that we've had.
Mr. Fakude, as we wrap up and still focusing on the EFF, the party plans to launch its election manifesto at Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban on the 10th of February. What key elements or themes do you anticipate will be highlighted in their manifesto, considering the recent growth that they mention and also their ambitions in KwaZulu-Natal?
Well, KZN is a hotly contested province in this election. And I think the EFF, of course, is hoping that it's going to make some inroads, and that's why they are there. But the ANC is not going to enter into this fight weak. It's going to try very hard to make sure that it comes in with the arsenal that it's needed to fight or contest elections in KZN. You know that it's not only the EFF that's looking at taking over the province, but you've got IFP and now you've got the Umkhonto weSizwe. So the EFF is actually looking at that division in terms of political consensus in the province, particularly within the ANC, because there are a lot of people within the ANC who are pro-Msholozi, in inverted commas, followers, and they'll do whatever it takes for them to support President Zuma. So the ANC is actually facing a very, very serious challenge within the KZN, because when you talk about President Zuma, you're not just talking about a political leader in that part of the world, but you're talking about someone who has started some sort of a movement. It's more like a KZN Trump. People will go with Msholozi wherever he goes. So the ANC knows that very well, and I think that's why, to an extent, Fikile Mbalula is not really in a hurry to pronounce on what the next step will be regarding Jacob Zuma. So with that in mind, I think the EFF realizes the weaknesses and is taking advantage of that.
That wraps up our insightful discussion with Thembisa Fakude, shedding light on the intricate political landscape in the country. We also delved into the ANC's strategic priorities, the dynamics surrounding Jacob Zuma's involvement with Umkhonto weSizwe, and also the EFF's optimistic outlook in KwaZulu-Natal as they hope to garner more support in that province.